Welcome to the file handling video series on C programming language. In the previous tutorial, we have seen what is a file, how we can create and open the files in C programming language. We have also talked about the file opening modes. In this video, we will talk about how we can write contents to the files in C. Specifically, we will talking about writing a single character to a file at one time using a function called as fputc. So first, let us take a look at the syntax of this function. This is the syntax. Here we can see that the name of the function is fputc. What it does is it writes a single character to the file. So here we have to specify the character that we want to write as the argument, and then we have to specify to which file this character should be written. Now, after writing the character to the file, this function returns that character it has successfully written, and if it faces any error while writing the character to the file, then it will return the end of character, and it will set the error flag, which we can check by using the ferror function, which we will talk about later in this video series. Now here, one thing that you guys can see is here we are writing a single character, but the data type is int. The reason for that is in C programming language, characters are represented using the numeric codes depending on the encoding standard used, and that's why we can see the data type as int here. So now let us see how we can use this function in our program and how we can write character to the file. So here I have already written some code. What I have done is I have opened a file called as output.txt, and I have used the file opening mode W, that is for writing. So if the file is not present here in this particular path, then the file will be created. If the file is present and if it contains some contents, they will be lost. We will get to work with a brand new file. Now here, if we look at this particular folder where I have saved my project, then I don't have a file with the name output.txt. When we run this program, the file will be created. Just to demonstrate that, I will run this program. The program does nothing at this particular moment. You guys can see output.txt file has been created. So here, after opening the file, I have checked whether the file has been opened successfully or not. If the file has been opened successfully, then we can perform the operation that we want to perform. So here we want to write some characters to the file. So we will use the function fputc, and we have seen the syntax. So here we have to specify the character that we want to write. So here I want to write the capital A. After that, we have to specify the stream or the file. In this case, it will be fp, that is the name of this file pointer. So now if I save this program and if I run this, nothing happens in the program. But if I open up the output.txt, we can see capital A is written. Now after that, what I will do is I will copy this statement and I will paste it a couple more times, and then I'm gonna make it B and C, and then I will run this program. Now if I open up the output.txt, you guys can see A, B, C. Now if you guys are just wondering where is the A that we have written in the previous run of this program, because of the file opening mode W, that content is lost. Whatever that we have written right now, that is only remaining on this file. Now the next thing that I want to show you here is what we can do is we can display the value that this function returns after successfully writing the character to the file. So for that, I will use the printf function. Since it will return a character, a numeric value which will represent a particular character, I will use the format specifier %c, and I will display that. So here what happens is this function fputc here, it will write capital A to the file, then it will return the same character, and that will be displayed on the screen by the printf function. If I save this program and if I run this, Now you guys can see here in the output, we can see A. And if we open up the output.txt, we can see ABC. If you want, you can display the other two function calls return values, just like the way I have done here. Now the next thing that I want to show you here is, we know that characters are represented by using the numeric codes. So if you want, we can specify the numeric codes here also. For example, I will specify 65, and I'm guessing that it is the capital B. So I will save this program and then I will run this. We get to see A in the output. If I open up the output.txt, it is AAC. I forgot the ASCII value for capital A is 65, and that's why that has been displayed there. If I want capital B, then I can specify 66 here. If I run this program, if I open up the output.txt, then we can see ABC. So the last thing that I want to show you guys here is, what if we have a string value, then how we can write those contents to the file using this function. To demonstrate that, here I will create a character array. So I will say data, and I will specify some characters in here. Subscribe if you like the video. Okay. And then what I want to do is, I want to write the contents which are present in this data array to the file by using fputc function. So what I have to do is, I have to go through this data array one by one, and then I have to get the each character and I have to write that to the file. For that, here I will define a variable and I will call it as index, and I will set a value of 0 in that, and then I will use the while loop. So it will be while, and we will access the data arrays value by using the value present in this index variable, and we want to run this while loop as long as the character that we are accessing by using this index from this data array is not the string termination character. We know that in C language, when we have string values, in the end there is a string termination character. Here it is not visible, but it is there. And that's why when we go through this data array, if we encounter this string termination character, then it means that that is the end of the string. So here we are saying, as long as we don't encounter the string termination character, we want to run this while loop. And then what we do is, we will use the fputc function. We have to specify the character that we want to write, and that data, that character is present in this data array at a specific index. And then we will provide the file pointer. It will be pointed by this fp. And after that, what we will do is, we will increment this index value so that the index can point to the next character with each iteration. Now finally, what I will do is, I will have a character variable. I will call it as ch, and here I will assign the string termination character to this ch variable. And what I want to do is, when this function writes the character to the file one by one, I want to display that character on the screen. So here we will write ch equal to, and then the return value of this fputc function, and after that we will display that to the screen by using the printf. So it will be %c, and then it will be ch. Okay, actually I can write this program without using ch, but since beginners watch this video, I don't want to make it complicated. So now I have written this program. Let us save this and let us run this. So here you can see the output. Subscribe if you like the video. So if I open up the output.txt, then you guys can see subscribe if you like the video. So what we have done here is, we have used a while loop. We have looped through all the characters which are present in this data array. Then we have returned those characters to the file using this function fputc, and then we have displayed that back on the screen. So this is it guys for this particular video. just a bit about the fputc function. Experiment with this code, try to do more things. If you get any error or if you guys have any confusion, let me know in the comment section. I'll try to help. So this is it guys for this particular video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later in the next one.